Good morning, class, and ready for some language again on this Monday. So, we're going to start out by reviewing some special sounds. We're going to use the green cards today. Alright, here we go. And say them along with me, at least in your head, okay? ING says ing in pointing. KN says n in not. GN says n in nat. ANG says ang in bang. ING says ing in king. ONG says ong in long. UNG says ung in strung. ANK says ank in bank. INK says ink in wink. ONK says onk in honk. UNK says unk in trunk. WA says wah in wash. A says in adopt. Y says E in baby. LE says ol in little. ED says ed in wanted. ED says t in looked. ED says d in played. And that is it. Okay. Now, for today's lesson, I'm going to do a brain challenge for you, a word challenge. I have words written on my board. I'm going to give you around 15 seconds to study the words and see if you know how to say them and see what is the same about the words, see what is in common. So, 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, y'all got them? So let's go over these words. We've got assurance. SS says sh in this word. Assurance, pressure, sure, surely, and tissue. So what is the same about all these words? What sound do they all have? Okay, they all have the sh sound, the SH sound. And do you see how they're spelled? This one is SS, SS, and SS. And these just have one S. It's like an SU. Okay, so all of those, actually all of these are followed by U's, aren't they? Assurance, pressure, tissue, surely, and sure. And they all have an SH sound. So S and SS can have an SH sound in some words. Okay, let's go over the second ones. The second group, bald, Baltimore, false, halt, malt, salt. What special sound do these all have? They have the AL says all. Special sound, okay? So in all of these, they have the AL says all in all of those words. Now I'm trying to think of AL, is that a special sound or is it just the sound that's in these words? I'm forgetting. Okay, anyways, so that's those words. Words that have the same sounds in them. So keep learning to recognize sounds as you learn words, read words. Keep reading lots and lots. It's good for our brains. I'll tell you about a book that I'm reading right now. It is called Peace Child. It's a grown-up book, but it is one that has lots and lots of adjectives and adverbs in it. And when I read the book, I feel like I'm just drawn right into the book because it is so interesting, and the author, the person who wrote the book, just such a great job of describing the jungle and the rivers and the people and the things that they do, and he uses lots of adjectives and adverbs. So that's an example of good writing. Now, let's go on to our oral exercises for today. So, the wind keeps blowing my paper. So, for our oral exercises today, we're going to do incomplete and complete sentences. So how about for today, if the sentence is complete, then clap your hands once. And if the sentence is incomplete, clap your hands twice. Okay, so if it's complete, clap once. Incomplete, clap twice. Okay, here's the first one. Been to Alaska? That is incomplete. Here's the next one. Ride the train. Incomplete. We will see tall mountains. Complete. Covered with snow. Incomplete. Y'all popping these off? We will leave at 11 o'clock. Complete. What time is it now? Complete. Eat in the dining car. That is not complete. Riding in the dome car. Incomplete. Okay, so a lot of those are pretty simple ones to figure out, weren't they? Now, if you have a piece of paper handy, go ahead and get a piece of paper so you can write these words that I tell you to write. Okay, so the first one that I want you to do, I want you to add the suffix to the word. So the first one I want you to do is write this word loud, the word loud, with the suffix ER. So go ahead and add the suffix to the word, write it on your paper. Loud plus ER. Okay, y'all got it? That is not a T, it is a plus sign. Okay, so our word is louder. Okay, loud plus ER is louder. All we had to do is add the suffix. We didn't have to change anything. Okay, now for the next word, got your pencil ready. Next word we're going to do is noisy plus the suffix EST. Okay, now noisy plus EST. Remember the rule. Do y'all remember the rule? A root word ends with a Y. What do? And we're adding a suffix that begins with a vowel. Change the Y to I before adding a suffix that begins with a vowel. So go ahead and write that word. And I'm going to write it down. Hopefully y'all have that written. Okay. Noisiest. Noisy plus EST becomes noisiest. Then we change the Y to I because we end with a Y and add a suffix that begins with a vowel. Noisiest. Okay, here's the next one. And the people at the shop next door are being noisy. Do y'all hear them? They are being noisy. Okay, here's the rule. The root word ends with a silent E. Drop the silent E before adding a suffix that begins with a vowel. So here your root word is share plus the suffix ing. So go ahead and write that one. Share plus ing. Remember the rule. Alright, you got it? I'm going to write it down. Okay, did y'all drop the E? Drop the silent E? Share plus ing becomes sharing. Okay, y'all got that? Now, one more. We have the word whisper. They are just banging around at the shop over there. Whisper plus ed. Okay, here we go. Whisper, whisper. WH says whisper plus ed. Go ahead and write that word. Okay, here we go. it is. All we had to do was add ed, whisper plus ed, whispered. Okay, you've been learning about dictionaries, how to find words in dictionaries, and about putting words in ABC order. Okay, you guys had that on your test on Thursday. And now we're going to learn about something else that puts words in ABC order, and it is called a glossary. Hope y'all can all see that. We have the word glossary. A glossary, it's like the word gloss with two S's, gloss, and then the suffix ARY, glossary. A glossary, it's sort of like a dictionary because you can look things up and things are listed in ABC order, but it's different from a dictionary in that a glossary tells you more about something. Okay, so a dictionary tells you the definition of a word, tells you what a word means. A glossary gives you information about a word. It tells you more about something. So a glossary, sometimes they're in the back of a book. So you might have a book. Good example, your math book. So you have your math book, and in the back of the book is it pages 76 and 77 or something like that, and you have your glossary back there. And so when you're doing your math, you can look back in your glossary to get information, and it will tell you, you forget what a word means, or you forget how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon. You can look in your glossary in the back of the book and find out the answers. Okay? Now, another place that you have a glossary, and maybe you didn't even know this, but in your language book. Now this is my teacher book here, but it also has the glossary. So, in the back of your book, if y'all have your language books, look in the back. It starts on page, let me see, page 341 is where the glossary starts, and it looks like this. See how at the top it says glossary? Okay, so at the top it says glossary, and you have a glossary, and it gives a whole bunch of words and names of things. And these are things that all of these things are things that you've been learning about, either have been or will learn about in your language book this year. Okay, so we have Acadia National Park, remember that one? Alligator, over here we have bald eagle, we have Brazil, some countries, Denali National Park. Okay, so your glossary, it's showing you things in ABC order. It starts with the A's, and then it goes to B, okay? Has your B words, and all your B words are in ABC order. And then it goes to C and D and E, just like it would in a dictionary. Now, your glossary is giving you information about something you've learned in the book. So let's look at this one. Page 342. At the top, the first entry is Arches National Park. So I'm going to read that section. Here's what the glossary says. Arches National Park is in the state of Utah. This park has many red stone arches, including Landscape Arch, the longest natural stone arch in North America. Visitors may see mule deer or turkey vultures as they drive through the park. Many other animals live in this area, but they are active only at night when it is cooler. Okay, so see how the glossary gives you information and tells you more about something that you were learning about in your language book. So, go to page, we're ready for page 321. So, If you keep a finger in your glossary, or put a piece of paper in there so that you don't have to keep looking for it later, because we're going to use that in your lesson today. So, go to page 321. Get ready for your lesson for today. Section number 1. Denali National Park is the only national park that has its own team of sled dogs. Sled dog puppies are born almost every year. Number the names of the puppies born in 2015 in ABC order. Okay, so this is section number 1. Now a note, you're going to number the words in the red box, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to number the words in the orange box, 1, 2, 3. Don't number all 6 words 1 through 6, okay? They're 2 different groups. So the first one you have Solace, Summit, and S'mores. Dog named S'mores. Okay? Now, you're going to put these words in alphabetical order, in ABC order. So let's go ahead and do that. First letter are all S, so let's look at the second letter. Second letter is O, U, and M. O, U, and M. Which one comes first in ABC order? M comes first in ABC order. L, M, N, O comes next. L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U. U comes third. Okay, so now we have our 3 S words in ABC order. Let's go to the next section. We have Vista. These are all names of puppies that were born. Vista, Venture, creative names, right? And Discovery. Any of y'all ever rode on a sled pulled by dogs? I think that would be really fun to do. Okay, so let's put these in ABC order. This one is actually pretty easy to know what is the first one, because D is one of the first letters of the alphabet. Okay, so Discovery is our number 1. D comes before V. Now, which one of our V words is next? We have VI, VE. Does E or I come first in ABC order? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. So Venture is next. Vista is third. Okay, so that's the section number 1. You can rewind and watch this again if you need to, or figure them out. Figure them out after a while here. Now let's go to section number 2. Use the glossary in the back of your Phonics and Language 2 book to answer the questions. So you're going to need your glossary in the back of your language book to answer these questions. Okay, so hopefully you still have that marked where your glossary is. So the very first question in section number 2 says, how many roads are in Denali National Park? Okay, the words that are in bold print, they stand out more in the sentence. Those are the words you're going to look up in your glossary. So Denali is a D word. So we're going to look in the D section of our glossary. So let's turn back. Okay, so we have all our A words first, and then our B words, our C words, and then here we have our D words. And look, the first one is Denali National Park. So let's see how many roads are actually in Denali National Park. So we're going to read in this paragraph. Denali National Park is in the state of Alaska. It covers 6 million acres, but has only 1 road going through it. That's amazing. That's a huge park with only 1 road. Okay, so that's your answer. How many roads? 1 road. So go ahead and write 1 in the first, after the first question. on section number 2. You can pause the video anytime if you are getting behind. That's okay. Okay, now the second question. What is the unique way that a bald eagle flies? So what are the words in bold print? Bald eagle. So we're going to look back in our glossary, find the B section. There's the C's. Let's find the B's over here on page 342. And the first B word is bald eagle. Okay, so what was our question again? What is the unique way that a bald eagle flies? The bald eagle is the national bird of the United States. At one time, there were very few bald eagles left, but now bald eagles live in most parts of the United States. Mother eagles lay up to 3 eggs a year in a nest built high above the ground. A bald eagle glides with its wings stretched straight out instead of flapping its wings like other birds. So that tells us the unique way that a bald eagle flies. It glides, okay? So that's how it flies. It glides, it stretches its wings straight out and just glides around instead of flapping its wings. I suppose it flaps its wings sometimes, I'm not sure. Okay, so that's the answer to our second question. Glides. You weren't sure, this is how you spell glides. It's glide, just with the sounds, and then S at the end, glides. Okay, that's our second answer. Go to the third part. What is the temperature of the water in Old Faithful Geyser in Yellowstone National Park? That's our third question. We're asking you what the temperature of the water of the geyser is in Yellowstone National Park. So let's go to our glossary. We're going to go back here. A Y is toward the end of the alphabet, so Yellowstone is going to be towards the back of our glossary. Actually, all the way on the last page of your glossary, the only Y word we have, Yellowstone National Park. Let's see what we can find about the water temperature in Old Faithful. Yellowstone National Park is in the states of Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana. In the year 1872, it became the first national park in the world. Many visitors see Old Faithful Geyser. This geyser erupts every 1 to 2 hours, shooting more than 8,000 gallons of very hot water into the air. Yellowstone National Park is home to many other geysers. Fumaroles, I'm not even sure how to say that, and hot springs. Now I am confused because that glossary is not telling us what the temperature actually is. It just says it's very hot. So I'm just going to tell you the answer. Okay? So the temperature is 204 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't need that book. I need this thing. 204. Okay, that's the answer for question number 3 about Yellowstone National Park. That's how hot the water is. 204 degrees. That's really, really hot. Okay? So 204 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, now we have one more question. Two more. So the second to last question. Name one animal you might see on a visit to Rocky Mountain National Park. Name one animal you might see. So they're going to list several, probably, and you just have to list one. So let's find Rocky Mountain National Park in our glossary. I have to find the R's. So there's D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, O, R. There it is, R. Rocky Mountain National Park on page 348. Rocky Mountain National Park is in the state of Colorado. Hikers in the park may see, listen closely, chipmunks, deer, elk, and moose. That lists some animals. So name one of those animals that you would see in the park. Chipmunks, deer, elk, moose. You can just name one of them. For your answer to the second to last question. I keep losing my page. Okay? You know what? I wonder if my glossary is the same as yours because my answers are not matching my glossary. The examples they give, did your story say something about your glossary? Maybe it said something about bighorn sheep, moose, black bear, and coyote? Did it say something about that? Go by what your glossary says, okay? Because it's probably telling you answers different than what mine is saying. Anyway, last question. What is an okapi sometimes called? An okapi. So we need to look up okapi in our glossary. It's above Rocky Mountain National Park. An okapi is sometimes called the forest giraffe. Okay, an okapi is sometimes called the forest giraffe. So forest giraffe for our last answer. That is on page 348. Okay, so now you've learned what a glossary is. Did y'all get forest giraffe? Let me just write that up here. There you go. Forest, F-O-R-E-S-T, giraffe, G-I-R-A-F-F-E. Okay. That is all for our lesson. Have a wonderful day.